Welcome back, everybody, to Strictly Casual. We just watched the finale of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and wow, I cannot believe it's over. It's like, it was something. Ryder, tell me a little bit of your thoughts here initially before we jump into the breakdown.
Well, watching this whole episode, I'm sure you felt it too, that there was like an overwhelming sense of kind of sadness, but ultimately like shock and excitement. And I feel like they stuck the landing. And if anything, this made you kind of excited to watch episode 4, the newer film. I mean, the original Star Wars. But yeah, I really thought this finale had a lot of meat to it to dive into. How did you feel about it?
Yeah, I haven't been hot on a lot of these Disney Plus series, which has been rough, and so I was really concerned about this show, but I'm leaving it feeling very happy. I feel refreshed
Yeah.
in the Disney Plus shows. I feel like the story that they told here has some emotional beats that are like top tier Star
Some
Wars.
of the best.
You know,
Yeah, some of the best.
they sprinkle in a little BS here and there. I will say it's not a perfect product,
Yeah.
but it's very, very good, and the good of it will last with me way longer than the bad will.
Absolutely. Yeah, if you want to go ahead, let's what's kind of the first scene you want to get into with this?
Yeah, so I mean, at the very beginning, we have Reva on Tatooine trying to find Uncle Owen. We know that she's going to go after Luke from the last episode, that kind of dealio. And then we have Leia on this ship with Obi-Wan escaping the Star Destroyer. That's kind of where we're set up here.
Circa Last Jedi, kind of.
The what?
The Last Jedi. You know how they're kind of escaping the whole movie with that? I was like, it's kind of that, but...
It's very much like that.
Yeah, my one kind of note for the kind of opening scenes is my newfound love for Uncle Oren and Aunt Bera, or Baru, I believe it is.
Yeah.
And like this entire episode, they really kind of hold their own protecting the fort, protecting Luke, and the aunt is like, no, we know what to do. We got to protect this kid. Come on, get your guns, let's go.
Yeah.
And Uncle Owen's like, oh wow. So she got a little moment to shine. I was like, she was great. I really enjoyed her.
Yeah. But at the very beginning here, there's a little standout character for me that I didn't expect I was gonna love, and it's kind of the leader of this group of people that Obi-Wan, or that they're trying to get to safety. At 4:10, it shows him. This is the scene with Obi-Wan and.
Oh yeah, this guy. Yeah, he's cool.
He's great, and Obi-Wan has this line to him that says something about people look up to you. You need to keep leading. Like, you need to keep going, keep leading. I just thought that was so powerful. Like, here's Obi-Wan. Everybody's looking for him, to lead everybody. This guy, and Obi-Wan's like, no. These are your people. Like, they look up to you. You need to lead them. Like, that kind of thing. It was a powerful moment to me, and it was like small, kind of looked over, honestly, in the grand scheme of the episode, but great moment.
Absolutely. Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Yeah. So yeah, we get into it, and he just ultimately decides, I need to confront Vader. This is what he wants. And my next point is at 15 minutes. I don't know if there's something in between for you.
Yeah, there is a little something. It's just, it's around 11:40, 11:26-ish, when Vader is telling the Grand Inquisitor that he wants to go after Kenobi, basically. So, because Obi-Wan splits off. That's the big thing. They split off so that Vader can go after Obi-Wan instead of going after this group.
And the Grand Inquisitor's like, oh my god, like, we need the people.
He's like, I don't care about Obi-Wan in this like personal feud. I just thought that was a great moment too. Vader's just in it.
Yeah, I can't help but think, like, in this scene, Vader's in the mess. He's like, I just want Obi-Wan. He's shaking, literally so he's so like angry to kill him. But yeah, you know me, I'm like, I want to dive into the kind of the scene, but
yeah, let's get in it.
So yeah, the fun, they walk up to each other, and I think off the bat, the dialogue that they're delivering, you're like, give me some good dialogue. And I think it's cool when Obi-Wan says, I will do what I must, and then he does, of course, the iconic pose that we see, and
Vader says,
then you will
will die. Instead of in episode 3 when Anakin's like, you will try.
You
will try.
Yeah, it mirrored it so well. And they did some cinematography moves here for this fight sequence that at times was shaky cam, but I was like, oh, okay, and average. But then there were some wide shots and some tracking that I was like, oh, this is like amazing.
I thought the choreography was very, very cool in this fight. I mean, I'm sure you're like skimming through so we can see little shots of it, but it felt fresh in the way that it was shot, I guess. I have a good thing and a bad thing here that really took away from this episode for me, and something that was like really nailed it, is the choreography's awesome. Obviously, Ewan and Hayden there's a lot of the stunt coordinators and all that nailed this fight with the way that Obi-Wan moves, the way that Vader moves around, the way that they're fighting looked really intense. I thought that was great. I think it shot well. But the volume is really taking away from this scene for me. Just truly taking away from it is
Really? Oh, I didn't notice that. Wow, because it's so dark for me. What?
Right. I like the setting. I think the volume as a whole in Kenobi was way too relied on.
It's jarring for you. You're able to notice it and pick it up.
Totally. And I don't want to notice it.
Gotcha.
That's just it. I don't want to notice. I'm like, oh yeah, this was shot in the volume. I don't want to think that. And I thought that so many times in the show. And unfortunately, that took away a little bit for me. But that didn't take me out of the emotions.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
No. Perhaps that could be viewing experience because I had the whole room dark, so maybe it was like hard for me to see too. I don't know if you had lights on. Maybe it's so obvious. Yeah. Oh, okay.
I blacked out. Okay. I blacked out everything. Nice. Trust me, headphones on. I was like here just watching it.
Great.
It was more of a quick thought. Like I made the thought go away because I wanted to be in the moment, and I was.
Yeah. Of course, so we're kind of compared, I guess, the shot while the scene is going on between Obi and Anakin. Of course, Reva is trying to get Luke, which the agenda is I want to kill Luke, but I don't know if it's because of to get at Vader or if it's
right. We don't really know.
She's angry. She's angry, right? And she wants to take out her anger somewhere.
And I want to bring up a similar Star Wars theme that is consistent across every movie, every show. Is parallel action. And I know a lot of movies do parallel action, but Star Wars has always done parallel action. There's always two things happening. In episode 3, it's the Yoda Palpatine fight and the
Anakin
Obi-Wan Anakin fight. Every single episode has parallel action in the finale, and I think this did a good job of going back and forth about two pretty emotional things. So props to them.
Yeah. Reva as a whole, like I could spend forever talking about her. I think she landed for me. I really enjoyed her, and she had the death because of course she was a youngling. You know what I mean? And it's understandable that she would turn into an inquisitor. She's a scared child, and she wants to just like even in the end she had the line about I let him down. Like she's still so obsessed with getting Vader's approval, but also trying to kill him. So. It's a good dichotomy there, and just great with her. But I guess my final points, not final points, but my continuing points are all about the Obi and Anakin kind of duel.
Yeah,
there's so much to it.
Let's keep going. I have some stuff about Reva after the duel. Duel's done.
Okay. So of course we get some beautiful shots of Obi-Wan and Anakin fighting with their force. Right? We see Obi-Wan at his most powerful. It seems like using the force with the rocks, and it kind of mirrors Rey from Last Jedi.
Okay. So Vader pelts Obi-Wan into the ground, kind of thing. And there's that shot that pulls up slowly with all the rocks on there, and it's there for so long, you almost think Obi's gonna burst out, and then it switches to Reva though before that happens.
Oh yeah.
And then so when we come back to Obi-Wan, I was really thinking, I'm like, if Qui-Gon's coming back, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna be here. Qui-Gon's gonna like give him a word, but no. He like thinks about Leia
in the future and Luke and kind of like that happiness that he's had. And, again, he's letting go of the anger, and that's why the Jedi, they have this, you know what I mean? Because that's where they get their powers from, peace and happiness and kind of the life around you versus the dark side's, anger and all the revenge that you want. But, they duel it up. Of course, Vader, throws him. He buries him alive. But, I guess already in 2408, Obi-Wan is just going at it, and he throws the rocks. But I'm talking about the moment where he slices his helmet. He's beating up his suit. Dude. He's getting his suit, man.
He does this run, and then he jumps off the rock, and then he
slices him. It was so good. But, of course, it's hard not to mirror, I guess it was Rebels, right? Ahsoka, this is cool. Ahsoka gets the other side of Vader's mask. She cuts that off.
The left side.
Obi-Wan gets the right or whatever. Yeah, well, the opposite side. And then I still think as cool as this scene is, Luke was able to reveal kind of the whole Vader, right? Like, we got to see. I know you have thoughts on this too. Sorry, but okay.
No, keep going.
Anakin is in there, but it's full Vader. The beautiful moments of Obi-Wan talking to him and apologizing, he gets that closure. But for him to, it was so scary to hear. This is what Vader said. He went, "I'm not your failure, Obi-Wan. You did not kill Anakin Skywalker.
I killed."
I
Yeah.
did. And it's like, oh my God, it's so much depth there because you have the blue light on his face, signaling like it's almost Anakin speaking to him like, hey, don't worry. But also it's Vader mocking him like, don't worry, I'm not your failure. You know what I mean? Like as Vader speaking, like there's so many ways to interpret that. I don't know how you picked it up on. I mean, what you thought.
I mean, there's even a change in his eye. You have a dark eye and a lighter eye, even when the sabers are going in. That it's the back and forth, even the voice from the James Earl Jones to
monitor was
Hayden
great.
Christensen. So well done. And just like you said, the left side is taken by Obi-Wan of his mask, the right side from Ahsoka, but Luke was the only one to save him. Obi-Wan and Ahsoka are like the two closest people to Hayden or to Anakin, and neither of them could save him, but his son could save him, which is just powerful. Such a cool. Yeah, someone that doesn't even know him at this point, right?
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. It's so well done.
The power of fathers and sons. Obi-Wan.
There's one line here that actually made me tear up.
Which one was that?
It's when after this whole like kind of dialogue between Vader and Obi-Wan says, "So my friend is truly dead."
Oh yeah, and it adds to episode 4 now when he says Vader murdered him. He's dead. He's long gone. And I was like, this is the moment where he finally lets go.
It's his closure.
And it was so sad, but for me, it was more the feeling that I felt was kind of terrified. Well, not actually, but like horror and scared because I was like, this guy was the kid that we loved. We loved watching Hayden, but for him to be like, I did. When he said I did, I was like, this guy is full pure evil. He's a monster, and it's not even him. Right. He's a robot. He's not a human anymore, and it's so scary that that person became fully this. You know what I mean? Like, the dark side really. It's frightening. You know what it could do.
Yeah, it totally is. I just then Vader on his knees. Also, Obi-Wan calls him Darth afterwards. Does not acknowledge him as Anakin. He says,
"Bye, Darth."
Goodbye, Darth.
Yes, like just full like you're horrible. Like, geez.
Yeah, he's like, I wanted to talk to Anakin. I could care less about you, kind of thing. Almost disrespect. And then Vader's on his knees. Obi-Wan,
come back here. Yeah, it's such a great way to separate, part ways, and not a like corny way where it's like, how are you gonna separate? Like you don't kill each other.
And this this goes into Obi-Wan is not the type of person to just kill like that. Like he wouldn't. I saw some people upset, like, if these original movies were never a thing, Obi-Wan would have just killed Vader here, like that kind of thing. I'm like, that's not what it's about, dude. That's not what it's about.
Letting go.
It really just goes into like Obi-Wan is my favorite character ever. I cannot think of a character that I like more than Obi-Wan Kenobi. The way that he is written, the morals and standards that he has, like the way he treats people. Like, even the way throughout the show, he treats Leia. We'll get into Leia in the end, which is my favorite scene in the entire show, is a line that he has in the end. The way that he treats his enemies, the way that he treats his friends. Like, he's absolutely someone that I looked up to as a kid. I wrote this in a tweet, too. It's like, I always looked up to Obi-Wan Kenobi. I still look up to Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Absolutely.
Seriously, it's, like, so powerful. Such a powerful character for me.
Yeah, you're right. And that's the way of the Jedi, for him to talk to Reva and say, you can let this go. You can make who you want to be now. That's kind of the rebellion. That's kind of like the spark that lights the fire, right, for the new movies. And it's that same mentality, and it's so great. But moving on now to, we get the first cameo of the episode. We get Palpatine back, and I made this funny joke. I don't know if you kind of felt this too. Looking at Ian.
Wait, but we skipped a good part.
Which part was that? Which part was that? Sorry,
we skipped
because there's so much. That's what I'm trying to.
I know. This is really important to me too. It's just when Reva brings Luke back. Reva decides not to kill Luke.
Well, that's what I was touching on briefly with the mentality. But the Luke before that moment too is cool. What do you have on that? Let me hear it.
I mean, obviously, Reva goes to kill Luke. Before she kills Luke, she has the flashbacks of her as a youngling.
That's right.
And Anakin stabbing her instead, like that kind of thing.
Yeah. She's thinking about her past and making the choice.
I'm kind of interpreting this as like, what I had this done to me. Why am I doing it to someone else now?
Yeah.
Like I don't want to send someone else through the same pain that I've been through, kind of thing. That's kind of what I gathered from that scene. They did a lot of showing, not telling, which was important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
that could have been
someone
cheesy.
made a point about how I feel like I don't know if you picked up on this, but I feel like she killed kids, Jedi kids, and so it's kind of crazy for her to now feel bad about it. But I was like, no, I'm suspension disbelief or whatever it's called, and I was like, no, I believe it. I'm with it.
So I mean, Reva brings Luke back. Owen and what is her name? Peru?
Oh yeah, Aunt Beru, I believe.
Beru.
Yeah.
You know, they take Luke back, and then Obi-Wan, they have a little dialogue back and forth, which I was really worried that it was going to get cheesy fast, but it felt good.
Yeah,
and
she
Obi-Wan
was
says,
acting really well. I was like,
dude, she was nailing it. She puts down her lightsaber, and Obi-Wan says, "We're both free."
Yeah. Oh,
this is
so good.
Another great line. Another great line in here.
We're just free from
they both dealt with their paths.
Yeah, and Anakin, that's guilt, the guilt, right, and the sadness of it. Well, I think they both had different reasons, but yeah, 100%.
Okay, jump into your first.
But now, moving on over, we got, of course, the Mustafar Castle and the cameo of Ian McDiarmid comes back as Palpatine. I was looking at him and I wanted to see if you felt this too. I was like, oh look at him, he's Palpatine. At this point, they don't have to do any makeup for him because he's just that old. I was like, from the old movies, they had to put so much.
They just put him in a cage.
Just put him in a cloak, and they're like, okay, Ian, come on now, get in there.
Cool.
But
I really could have just done without that whole scene, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it was cool, I guess, to see Palpatine, and Palpatine's like something about weakness, and I don't know.
Yeah. Kenobi means nothing, and again, kind of another scary point on how Palpatine, at the heart of this, is he's the true evil, the epitome of the bad guy. He's the one who made this guy like this. So for Vader to look at him and say, "Master," like, it's like, God, dude, what happened?
You hate to see it.
Yeah, hate to see it, 100%.
All right, let's go into the next point. I love this so much. We go back.
I want to hear
we're back
what
on
you got for this. Little Leia. Alderaan. I kept saying Coruscant.
Yeah.
It's not.
No.
Alderaan. Okay. She looks so cute.
This is the first time we've seen Alderaan like in a show or movie or anything, because it gets destroyed, in 4. R.I.P. everybody there. So Obi-Wan kind of surprises Leia here because they haven't seen each other since the ship before the duel, that kind of thing. And it is such a powerful moment to me. It's the whole time when Obi goes over and kneels down next to Leia and they talk. To me, this scene just means so much. It's Obi-Wan telling Leia, like, I did know your parents. Like when I told you I didn't know your parents, I do. You have the traits. He goes through the traits that you got from Padme, and the traits that you have from Anakin. Doesn't say the names or anything, but he's like, just know, like, the same things that I've seen in you, they come from your parents. And Leia's like accepted that, but also she's like, Bail is my dad.
I have my
like,
parents.
I'm happy. Yeah,
it's so good. And this little girl, like, even like, she's trying her best, and it's like so good for a child actor. I'm like, you're great.
Nailed this. And if you go back to the first video we did where we're talking about this, I was very scared of Leia, the child actor. I was like, oh no, like, I don't know about this. She nailed it, and that scene alone made it so worth it. Oh my God.
And then of course, he says, if you ever need help from a tired old man,
you know where to find me.
Yep, you know where to call me up. So it's like, cool. It makes sense that, and she's a little kid too. So by the time she's older, she's just like, hey, Obi-Wan, like, I don't really remember you, but you know what I mean? Like, it makes sense the way she says it, words it, because I know, of course, it was the first movie of all time. Like, you can't imagine.
She names her son Ben later. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it makes pretty awesome. It adds so much gravity. A fantastic scene. You said it well. Moving on to, we get Obi-Wan in the garbs that he looks like Revenge of the Sith. He's wearing the white kind of.
It's in the comics too.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's his fit. Like, we've seen this fit before, in the colorway of his costume. I think it's a great way to send him off. He's moving on the camel. What's first? Okay, so he finally gets to see Luke, which I think is also a deep moment, right?
Interesting. I didn't really think that was gonna work. Ben was like, "Oh, you want to meet him?" I was like, "Oh, I don't think they've met before."
Yeah, they haven't met.
But I don't think it matters. I'm sure I've met someone when I was 10 years old. I have no idea. Like, I have to
and they're like, I saw you as a kid.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But we get the iconic line.
I was dying laughing because he says, "Hello there."
I'm like crying at this point in the show, but then I'm like laughing when this is happening. Like, oh my God.
You're just like, check after check after check of yep.
You just did it.
We're going. Great little callback. And then, of course, the finale. I mean, he's walking and you see the silhouette of a Force ghost. And everyone at this moment was like, I was jumping up and down. I was like, no way you brought him back. No way you bring him back. Who was it? Who was the cameo?
Mr. Liam freaking Neeson. Mr. Oh yeah, I don't do TV shows. That's way I don't do TV shows. Blah, 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 blah. And here he goes. Here he is in Kenobi, baby.
And he looks great.
He looks awesome, man. It's the slick back hair, and then you have like the hair that like comes out on the sides like this, and then you have Obi-Wan saying, "Master, I didn't think I'd ever see you," or something like that.
And he's like, "Took you long enough," which it's crazy because he had to go through this personal journey, you know, Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And now the Force Ghost of Qui-Gon revealed himself to him and said, "We're just getting started," you know what I mean? Or like, we have a long way to go. And so I'm thinking in my head as a little joke, Obi-Wan's going to another cave to just wait there for the 10, 15 years.
Yep.
But
he's off to do something.
What a journey he went on for him to be like, yeah, I finally saw Anakin, I let go of that, and now you're
because Rebels is after this, question mark?
I believe so. I want to say so, yeah, because I think Ahsoka's around this time. I'll say that. That's my consensus. But
because I mean, we have to wait till I think it is.
I would be there with you. Anyone correct us in the comments, but yeah, I'm because you know, Ahsoka's a little older and it's Vader's prime and all that.
I'm really happy. I'm really happy. I have some complaints with like maybe some of the storylines that are happening like in the middle of the episodes, and now it just
they focus on what they needed for the show. Like they didn't go too far out. They kept it contained, and they gave us Obi-Wan and Anakin. Like that's what everyone wanted.
Yep.
And I think, you know, again, patience. People need to have patience because they delivered on that. And while there were some maybe filler episodes, somewhat, it was kind of like
not
just
filler, just like
the story. It's like that's what the story is, you know.
I enjoyed it, and I will happily say that I think this is my favorite Disney Plus show.
Oh, Star Wars are probably all time, right? So far,
probably all.
Like
I enjoyed every episode more than I did. Even the episode I enjoyed the least is probably at the same level I enjoyed of the most of other Disney Plus shows.
Dang, that's crazy. That's
seriously.
That's it. Yeah, no, I'm just that's a good way to put it. Yeah, for me,
and I think I was more invested. Obviously, more invested. Here than
absolutely.
I was.
Yeah, I was happy to hear your review online, and I mean, yeah, for me, it was the Anakin moment. Like to see Hayden kind of delivering a great performance under this mask with just the eye. I was like, phenomenal, and that's all I could ask for. That's all I have.
Man, I can't wait to watch it again, and just I'm so glad this is part of the story now that you can think back on this when you're watching the other movies now. I think it really is. It's just like it elevates the other material, and that's exactly what you want.
Yeah,
that's exactly what you want. You don't want it to take away, and I feel like it's elevated it in so many ways.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, there you have it. You all good?
That's all I got. All
right. Well, I'll close this off. Ladies and gentlemen, what a show. Let us know your favorite moments down in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going. Stay tuned because we have much more content coming for Strictly Casual. Some exciting plans.
And thanks for watching this little series instead of doing our reaction videos and stuff. This is something new that we tried, and I appreciate you guys watching them every week. That's pretty awesome.
Absolutely. Everybody have a great week. Enjoy Obi-Wan, and we'll see you next time.